What is up, guys? It is Zodi G back with another review slash reaction. First of all, I want to start off by saying, go check me out on Twitch, guys. What are you doing? What are you doing, guys? Go check me out on Twitch. It is Zodi the Boss, all one word, ZODIDABOSS. And if you want to buy anything in the Fortnite item shop, use my creator code Zodi ZODI-ON-YT. Zodi on YT. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, guys. Um, I want to thank everybody for the almost 500 views on the last vid dealing with the RX 4090. Yeah, it was kind of a concept video, but it did really good, and it's an actual CPU that's going to be coming out in the next couple of years, guys. So definitely want you guys to go check that out. But this video is strictly going to be on the Radeon, aka AMD RX 6900 XT GPU versus the RTX 3090. These are the two top tier graphics cards that are impossible to get your hands on because all the miners are buying them to mine Bitcoin and for mining. So if you get it, you can possibly get one of these cards in a pre-built machine. I seen a lot of people doing that. They've been getting these cards in a pre-built, and then they'll just rip it out of the pre-built, put another good card in the pre-built, and sell out the 3090 for $2,000, $2,500. And these things are okay. The 3090 is 1,500 brand new. So these people are selling these cards for almost double what they're costing retail. And the 6900 XT AMD card goes for 1,000 brand new. Both are top tier cards, guys. I don't want you to think. Well, it's strictly pretty much on, are you a AMD Ryzen CPU slash Radeon GPU guy, or are you an NVIDIA guy, GeForce and Intel guy? I mean, I'm an Intel guy, even though I believe Ryzen's are the better CPU, just because for what you get. The cores to threads, the 8 cores and 16 threads on most of their CPUs versus in the Intel world, that's versus what do they do, 6 cores and 12 threads. So I mean it's to each their own, but this is strictly about the Radeon 6900 XT versus the not the RX. I am brain dead. This is the 3090. The 3090, guys. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I will not be talking while he's talking. But if I do want to chime in, I'll pause it and say something, guys. All right, let's get started.
It's finally the launch of the Radeon RX 6900 XT, the last big launch of 2020, the end of the ridiculous gauntlet of back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back CPU and graphics cards launches.
Okay, let's start. I want someone to chime in on that. He's exactly right, because see, this is the problem with what happened. They dropped the Radeon dropped their 500 series, and NVIDIA dropped their 2080, 2090, or 2080 Ti's, and there's that 20 series. They literally brought the 30 series like 2 to 3 months after that. And the thing about it is, everybody went out and bought this super expensive $2,000 2080 Ti, and then 3 months later they come out with a better card for cheaper. That's what Nvidia did. They came out with a card that was 12, 13, 14, $1,500 cheaper, but it was better than the 2080 that everybody. I didn't understand it either, guys. I don't know, but everybody was super mad about that because they went. Don't get it confused though, guys. I don't want people to get it confused and think that, oh, if you don't have a 30 series or a 20 series, your card's bad. That's not how it works. That's not how it works, because a lot of people are still running the 10 series, the 1080 Ti. is a phenomenal card. There's so many cards out there that aren't on the pedestal like these are, but they're still very good cards, guys. I just wanted to chime in on that because Nvidia did kind of trick people by doing that. They made everybody go out and spend $2,000 on this 2080 Ti, and then they brought out a 3070 Super that was way better, and they brought it out and it was $500. So a lot of people were upset with that, but let's keep going.
Over the past month and a half, 2 months, I don't know how long it's been. Why are you getting angry? Don't get mad. Anyway though, today we're talking about the updated answer to the consummate question, who makes the fastest gaming GPU? Is it AMD or is it Nvidia? We're gonna answer that today, and maybe, just maybe, after the video, I can finally see a light at the end of the tunnel I've been in, beckoning me home to a quiet, peaceful place where I can rest and put all this endless testing and benchmarks and stock and availability woes and customers being upset behind me. Actually, that's not a light at the end of the tunnel. That's actually just a reflection of the glowing Radeon logo on this 6900 XT. It can do RGB now.
Excellent!
For these recent launches is the lack of availability of the graphics cards and overpricing by resellers and scalpers, which is a difficult nut to crack as a reviewer. I could go with the current situation and wildly fluctuating prices and discuss that.
Just a quick chime in. When they sent these cards out, the Radeon RX 6800 and 6900, they came with the standard red logo on them. Right there, they had a red logo, right? Okay, well they just put out an update to where you can change the RGB on these cards. That's what he's talking about. Instead of having the mandatory red, you can make them whatever to match your setup. So you can have it blue, green, whatever. That's what he was saying there.
Or I could rely on what manufacturers say the actual retail prices will be of these cards once they're more widely available. And long story short, that is what I am doing today, simply for the sake of simplicity. Let's quickly go over this card and my testing setup though. The RX 6900 XT is an all-new custom designed card from AMD, and the reference design for the 6900 XT is exactly the same as the 6800 XT. Same size, same 3 cooling fans, same color scheme, same power connectors and video outs. In fact, you might not have noticed, but this footage I'm showing you right now is the 6800 XT, not the 6900 XT, so that's how you save time shooting.
Another thing, everybody, the 6800 XTs and the RX 6900 XTs look exactly alike, literally exactly alike. The only thing that where you can tell them difference is on the back it has a little badge of what it is. That's the only way you can tell the difference.
B-roll. The 6900 XT also measures 10.5 inches long and is a 2.5 slot card, but the only really way to tell the difference, other than plugging them in and pulling up GPU-Z or something, is by looking at the label on the card. It also still has the backlit red Radeon logo, which defaults to red, although as of today, AMD is finally releasing the RGB control software to change that logo to different colors. I did not have time to test that out today either. But even looking at the specs list, the 6900 XT and 6800 XT are very similar, with the same 300 watt TDP and 750 watt recommended.
Okay, so let's stop here. Let's go over a little cap. Remember, I was talking about the prices of these cards. The RTX 3090, $1,500. The RTX 3080, $700. RTX. These are retail prices. That's not what they're being sold for now. This card right here is being sold for $2,000, for $2,500. That's what this card is being sold for, or $2,000. The price, because there's a shortage on these cards. That's why they're jacked. The price is so jacked up. You can get a 6800 XT for $650. The 69 is $1,000. But I'm going with the RTX 3090 on most games because I am an Nvidia guy and I believe that this card is just superior. I believe it's just superior. But those are the prices I was telling you, the price points. This is what they were selling from stores for.
Power supply. The memory is still 16 gigs of GDDR6 VRAM with a data rate of 16 gigabits per second, but the 6900 XT has a fully enabled chip with 80 compute units and 5120 stream processors versus 72 compute units and 4608 stream processors on the 6800 XT. Here you can also see comparison specs and data for the other cards I'm testing today, including the $1,500 plus RTX 3090. Moving on to my test setup though, we're using my open AMD test bed upgraded to the 5900X 12 12-core, 24-thread CPU running with Auto OC and PBO enabled, and cooled by an NZXT Kraken X62 280mm all-in-one CPU cooler. The motherboard is the Gigabyte X570 Aorus Master, and the memory is 16 gigs of G.Skill Trident Z Royal RGB running at DDR4 3600, CAS latency 16. Stats for the rest of the hardware is listed on this slide if you want to take a closer look, and also...
Okay, oh, can I go back just a couple seconds? Right, hold on, right there. All right, so this is how the cards will be tested. The CPU is literally like one of the best CPUs. This is ridiculous. This is what I mean by Ryzen's stuff. 12 cores, 24 threads. This is insane. You can literally do anything you wanted to do with this platform. But this is what he's going to be testing it out on. He has the Ryzen 9. He has 16 gigs of RAM, which is the sweet spot for streaming slash gaming right now. He has an AIO CPU cooler, so he probably has it's water cooled. Windows 10 Pro, 64-bit. His case is a Corsair, or no, that's his PSU is 1,000. High performance power plant. Yeah, I mean he has a very good. Oh, he has the latest drivers also. Yeah, he's definitely set, man. So let's continue.
On this slide if you want to take a closer look, and also Smart Access Memory, or SAM, the feature that allows the CPU to access all of the VRAM from the graphics card, which requires an AMD setup with a 5000 series CPU and a 500 series motherboard, is enabled for all of my testing. I had the choice of turning it on or turning it off, and I decided to turn it on. And again, that feature allows the CPU to access all of the VRAM from the graphics card rather than just a 256 megabyte chunk, and it typically results in anywhere from 0 to 5% performance boost. Let's move into the benchmarks, and here are the actual clock speeds I was seeing out of the cards while in use. AMD lists a base and a game clock for their GPUs, and while the game clock is supposed to be the average frequency under a typical gaming load, I found it was actually underestimated. My card hit 2,582 MHz peak frequency, which is even higher than the 6800 XT hit, although that was just for a quick burst. The average was about 2330 MHz under load, again, even higher than the listed 2250 MHz boost clock. It does seem like the 6900 XT might have a better binned GPU than the 6800 XT, even if it's just running 5 to 10 MHz faster on average. And now it's time for the benchmarks. 3D Mark Times by Extreme is a synthetic benchmark from 3D Mark, a DirectX 12 test, and here the 6900 XT is about 11.
I'm going to try to skip through these because he's going to be talking a lot, but these are the first game that they are benchmarked. All these cars are being benchmarked. 3090 wins. 6900 XT is a bit of ways behind like I thought it would be from the 3090. So he doesn't have it marked to where the games are. But pretty much on the first game, the 3091, but you still see the 30 set. All these cards are great cards, man. They're all great cards. But the 3090 is big dog as of right now. Try to.
I already knew that the AMD cards were going to suffer here, as Nvidia has a hardware lead and an advantage in ray tracing tests. They've just been doing ray tracing for longer. The 60
Again, 3090, they enable ray tracing. A lot of people don't even know what that is, but it's a new technology that a lot of games can't even do yet. But 3090 wins again with the ray tracing because they literally specialize in that.
6900 XT is 30.5% slower than the RTX 3090 and out the 6900 XT and all the RTX cards.
On the Tomb Raider, okay, the Radeon wins. The Radeon wins. Not by much. As you see, it's really close. But, I mean, yeah, the Radeon wins.
Cards. We're CPU limited at this resolution, but the 6900 XT did beat the RTX 3090 by about 3%. At 1440p, the 6900 XT is on top, followed closely by the 6800 XT, and both are about 5% faster than the RTX 3090, which had some trouble with the 1% lows. At 4K, the RTX 3090 comes out on top, and at this resolution, CPU limitations are minimized, so we're looking at more of a direct GPU comparison. Great performance.
So in 4K, the 3090 wins.
overall from the Radeon cards in these first set of tests though. Let's see if they can keep it up. Here is Metro Exodus, and at 1920 by 1080, the RTX 3090 is on top with the 6900 XT trailing by 4.6%. Both Radeon GPUs showed better consistency in the 1% lows, however. At 1440 we have a similar story with reduced frame rates of course, and the 3090 still had trouble with the 1% lows, although its average was still 5.3% faster than the 6900 XT. At 4K, the 3090 manages to win outright with 77.3 average frames per second. The 6900 XT is 8.5% slower here, and the 6800 XT trails by almost 15%. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is a beautiful DirectX 11 title, but still punishes GPUs in terms of achievable frame rates. At 1080, the RTX 3080 takes the win, kind of like a younger sibling besting their older brother or sister, perhaps inspired by the 6800 XT's similar performance in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Anyway though, the 3080 was 2% faster than the 3090 here, while the 6900 XT was 2.75% slower. At 1440p, the whole field of GPUs shifts, with the 6900 XT jumping into first and the 3080 dropping to fourth. That's a 1.1% win for the 6900 XT over the 3090, and the 6800 XT is 5% behind. At 4K though, again the 3090 surges back to take the lead, marked way too many times, but I still love it, and at 1080 we are
Grand Theft Auto 5. RTX 3090 wins. I'm gonna kind of speed this up because he does a lot of talking, but he does a lot of benchmarks too. But yeah, again, 3090 wins. 3090 is winning most of them right now. Let's continue.
CPU capped with all cards I saw in my 6800 XT video. X is just 2% slow, disappeared, or at least shoots the gap between the RTX 3080 and
Battlefield 5. RTX 3090 wins.
RTX 3090. Unfortunately, it's still about 10% behind in 1440p resolution, and although again 0.9% slower and the 68 high, and I would say that the 6800 XT keeps up well here.
Okay. Death Stranding 6900 XT wins. Yeah, he's still doing it.
3090 coming in 3% faster than the 69. 1440p, the RTX 3090 takes back the lead, hitting 340 FPS.
Doom Eternal 3090 wins.
And topping the 6900 XT by 2.25% and the 6800 XT by 10.7%. And finally, at 4K, the graph looks almost boring because all the cards are just kind of sitting where you'd expect. 3090 on top, then 6900 XT, then 3080, then 6800 XT, and then finally the 3070. All right, next let's talk about temps and power draw. Here are the peak temperatures recorded for each card across all tests, whole system, where the 6900 XT actually drew less average.
Okay, well this is where he goes into how much power the GPU is drawing and the temps that they're maintaining. But we pretty much went through all of the tests or the benchmarks, and I think it's fair to say that in most games the RTX 3090 wins. But there's still going to be people arguing the point that the 6900 Radeon is better, and it's probably because they're just a diehard AMD fan, which is okay. But guys, we'll cut it here. It's been a great video. I thank all of you guys for coming. Make sure you leave me a like and subscribe to my YouTube, and make sure you go follow me on Twitch, Zodi Da Boss, ZODIDABOSS. And I stream over there all the time, so you could talk with me directly. And yeah, but guys, that'll be it for the video. Thank you all for coming out, and we'll see you next time.